Hey everyone, it's Kaylee. I'm here doing another live. I'm gonna try to paste this comment again. It's always what I have the most trouble with. Oh yeah, we got it, and I didn't even turn around the camera. I hope everyone is doing well on this sunny, well, at least here it's sunny, Friday. Today my live is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be still talking with some of the teens from the 2020 class, but this time they're going to be asking me some questions. I want you guys to send in your questions if you have any questions about your college experience. I just finished up my first year in college, so I'm gonna be chatting with some of the girls, answering their questions if they have any about the college experience. And I want you guys to send in your questions as well. My freshman year of college, although it was odd just because of having to move classes online during the second semester, it was still a ton of fun, and I've made a ton of new friends as well. So it's been an exciting experience. First off, I am going to be talking with Miss West Virginia Teen USA 2020, Sophia Martino. And I'm going to see if I can add her in. Let's see if she is coming in, and I will chat with her. Hi. Hey,
Oh
how
my
are you?
goodness, I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. Thanks for asking. So, I know
You're
you are going
welcome.
I know you're going into college, so do you have
Yes,
any questions?
I do. I have a few questions. I wrote
Okay.
some out. So, my first one, I think this is like the most obvious question, but you have such a prestigious title being Miss Teen USA, and you've done such an amazing job. I love
Thank
following
you.
your journey. How do you, how have you balanced, all the stuff you do with Teen USA
Mhm.
with college, getting good grades, studying, making friends, college life, all of that stuff?
Um, I guess it was definitely interesting at first because college is a new experience for everybody that goes in. And so I
Definitely.
had a chat with Haley Colborn, Miss Teen USA 2018,
Hmm.
before going in, and also like in the middle of my college experience. And she was like, college is a new experience for everyone, but it's
Oh,
especially going to be different going in as Miss Teen USA, and especially with my year, just because it was a historic moment in pageantry, so a lot of people heard about it. Um,
hmm.
so when I went in, I didn't know what to expect. I always have the mindset that people don't know who I am, and I think that's just like who I am. Um,
Yeah.
so when I went in, I was like not expecting people to know me and know
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
name, or at least know that I had won a pageant title. So the first day of school, I remember going in and I started working for the social media team, and I was passing out t-shirts, and I had to use the restroom, so I had to go in the library, and this guy was
Mhm.
standing there and he opened the door for me and he was like, Miss USA, and I was like, thank you, like wrong title, but thank you. um, but from there, I actually, after I won my title, the school had sent me a box of gear because they had found out that I
Oh,
was
that's
going to go
cool.
there. And I got a business card with one of the
Hmm.
administrators' name and email on it. And I sent him an email because, to be honest, I was worried about going in and having
Oh,
like
definitely.
all these things happening. So I had a meeting with him in the summer, and I was saying how like school's my first priority, and I also
Of
have
course.
this job that I love so much, and I want to be able to do as much as I can for it during my reign. And he completely
Hmm.
agreed, and he appreciated that like I was putting my studies first. So thankfully they helped me put together a schedule that would make it so I could go to the city on Friday, and I'm really lucky that,
That's cool.
yeah, that they were so nice in allowing me to kind of tweak my schedule, which first year students don't usually get to do. And I just made
Mhm.
sure that if I had assignments, I always had my calendar with me. I brought it to New York just so I could list out everything.
Yes,
And I just,
organization
yeah.
is key.
So I just had to just stay on top of my own stuff basically and get the work done, even if it meant like staying up a little bit later or doing it in between content shoots when I was in New York. But I made sure that I got everything done. And I also always tell my friends that, like, hey, you guys, like, I'm always going to make time to hang out with you. Just
Mhm.
because I have work doesn't mean that, like, I can't see you, I can't hang out.
Yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
always make sure to make my friends and family like a priority. And if I have to be like, oh, I can't shoot this certain video until Tuesday because I need to hang out with my friends, like, I make that aware.
That's awesome. I also had a question. I know I'm going to West Virginia University, WVU for short. And for
Congratulations.
COVID, thank you. And we have some new regulations. I know we have to wear masks all the time. We
Mm-hmm.
are all getting corona tested before we go to school.
Mm,
They're making that free for us, so that's awesome.
that's good.
What is your college? Do you know anything about what they're doing to kind of combat the COVID-19 crisis?
Yes, I do. So school for us is starting on August 26th. I know that they're doing housing like in dorms, but on a little bit of a
Mhm.
lower capacity. Um, for classes, all of our classes have to be 50 people or less, which is like, I feel
Ours
like not
too.
that, yeah, doesn't have, is like not that big of a thing for us because we are a smaller college. And usually our class sizes are like 20 to 30 people. The only classes that are like
Oh, that's
large,
cool.
yeah, the only classes that
Hmm.
are large are like lectures, and we barely have any of those. And they are coming out with a schedule. So they're moving some of the classes completely online for the entire first semester. Some are going to be hybrid, so they only meet sometimes in person and sometimes online.
Same here.
And then all of the class, and then some are just going to be in person, but as I said, a lower capacity. And then they're going to be like the non-touch, like sanitizing stations that just have
Yep.
hand sanitizer, like masks. And I think they're
Yes.
distancing the
Yeah.
desks as well. I'm like, think that's about it,
I
except for the fact. Oh, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. I was just
Okay.
gonna say I think they're doing like every other seat at my college. Like
Oh,
there's
really?
gonna be like a Tuesday, Thursday class.
Mm-hmm.
So half of the class goes in Tuesday, the other half goes in Thursday. I think they're trying to
Yeah.
make it work like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then the big thing
Yeah.
though is after, so all the classes are going to run like semi normally until Thanksgiving break, and then after Thanksgiving
Mhm.
break we're not back on campus. Like the last 2 weeks are completely online. So that basically means just finals for us, but
Mhm.
after Thanksgiving break we don't go back to campus until the next semester. So like end of
Same
February, I
here.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
Um,
going.
Yeah, well, that's good that they're doing that. I feel like our colleges are doing a lot of the same things, and I have a feeling that it's going to go really smoothly if
Yeah.
everybody, follows directions and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Did you? This is one more question. Did
Yeah.
you join any clubs like your freshman year?
Yeah, so that's kind of ties into your first question. It was kind of difficult to do a ton of extra stuff on campus just because
Oh
I
yeah.
already knew I was balancing the two jobs, like working for the social media team, doing Teen USA, as well as
Mhm.
focusing on my studies. So I wasn't able to join as many clubs as I wanted to, but I was able to attend a lot of events just because I worked for the social media, or I work for the social media team.
Cool.
So I got to go to a ton of social justice events, like homecoming, just like all the different like club events that they had.
Hmm.
Just because I always knew when stuff was going on because I would post about it and make flyers to post online. And so that was really cool. And I would have to cover the events. So I was able to go and
Hmm.
still be involved in that way, although I wasn't like a signed on member, but I
Yeah,
was actually able to, over the latter half of this year, join a club. I joined the ASL club because I take ASL, and over the summer they hold a club so that we can like keep learning and not
that's
forget
cool.
all the signs that we learned over the school year. So I was able to join that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is Awesome. And then I will ask you one last question.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
think. Are we good on time? Okay.
Yeah, we're fine.
What is your favorite thing about college? I know that's like a really broad question, but
I think my favorite thing about college well, this is very specific to me, but I found that it was kind of like a new start. In like high school, I didn't really have a diverse public school that I went to, so being able to go to a college that is very ethnically diverse and just not know everyone felt really cool
yeah.
because I felt like when I got to the end of high school, I was kind of like I need friends, like I need more friends, and like
Yeah, that's how I feel.
yeah, like it's not like I needed a new start, but definitely going to college was a breath of fresh air because it's a whole new experience. Nobody knows who you are, and you're just kind of starting off and figuring out your kind of new life. It's like not the real world yet, but it's getting close to it. And so that was really exciting for me, just to have a new start, meeting new people, and just a whole new experience in general.
Yeah, that's how I feel the same way about that as well because my school only had 200 kids in it and there were 20 kids in my class, or like 20 or 30. And I know that now I'm going to a school with 35,000 people, so I'm really excited to meet the new friends. I have a feeling that that's probably going to be my favorite part as well.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you, and thank you for asking me questions. I'm glad to share.
You're welcome. I cannot wait to meet you later in the year. I'm like fangirling over here. Like, I'm so excited. But
well,
yes, thank you.
Okay,
thank you
I'll chat with you later, and thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was awesome. I love chatting with these girls. Okay, well, also, don't forget, if you have questions about college, to put them in. Next, we have Miss New York, Team USA. My computer just died, so I cannot tell who's coming on next. Yes, Chesley, I see you. How's it going? I'm just gonna wait for her to join. Oh, college, exciting experience. Oh, hi, Mom. My mom just got on. How's it going, Mom? I hope you're doing well. And we're gonna add her in.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I am doing well. So congratulations on going to college. What college are you going to?
I will be going to St. John's University in Queens, New York.
Oh, awesome. Is it a smaller school or like a bigger school?
That's a good question. I really don't know, but I think I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know, but I think it's around 30K, 30,000.
30,000?
Yeah.
See, that's like so much to me because my college is pretty small, actually. Like my entire class is 1,000 students, 1,000-ish students by itself. So it's like a pretty small college.
Well, yeah. I went to a small high school. There's 20 kids that I've known ever since the 5th grade, since up to now graduating. And like, honestly, that's the one thing that I didn't want while applying to schools. I was like, I need to go to a big school to meet new people, but also stay in the heart of my home, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I have a few questions for you being a first-time college student, and I don't know what I'm getting myself into. So let's just dive right in.
Okay.
So what was a typical day like for you?
A typical day. Okay, so some of my classes, always are they meet 2 times a week. So some classes, I think my first semester, one of my classes started at like 10-ish, let's say. So I would wake up. I live about 25 minutes from campus. So I'd wake up maybe an hour and a half before I had class, just like get up, eat breakfast, get a little snack together for the middle of the day, and I just drive to campus. I get to class, sit there. A lot of my classes were an hour and 15 minutes, I think. But the cool thing was that since I work on campus, when I had breaks in between classes, let's say I had 3 classes in a day, I would go to work and just kind of do my thing there as well, you know, get those hours in. So I have two classes. Let's say one started at 10, the other started at 11 or 11:05 because they give you time to walk to your next class.
Well,
And so I'd be done with my second class around 12, go to work for 2 to 3 hours, just shoot as much content as possible. Towards the end of the year, I became in charge of the TikTok account.
Look at you! Making
So
our generation proud.
so I would go with one of my coworkers. They would dress up in the Otis costume. Otis is our mascot. And we would go around campus and film TikToks with students, like kind of getting students like candidly with the mascot, which was a lot of fun, and just going through all like the social media stuff. And then I would just go to my last class. And usually I would just go home after that. I never really stuck around on campus too much, besides when I had like finals or midterms or something, because I don't know, it was just like I'm not that person to like stick around on campus. That's why I actually got the job, because I knew if I didn't have a reason to be on campus, I wouldn't, just because of like I'm not as much as like of a social person I am, and I like enjoy talking to people, I also like sticking in my room. So that's basically it. And I would go home, do homework, put out my list, like my calendar for the next day, and just kind of go to bed.
Well, honestly, it'd be like that sometimes. I can really attest to that. Like, it doesn't matter like how much of a social butterfly you are. There's like nothing than that little bubble, which is your room, and then you're just like, it's like you're escaping from reality.
Exactly.
So I get it. I definitely I get it. So how much reading and writing was required for your courses?
Oh geez. So okay, completely honest. So I originally, the first day of college, was a nursing major. I was a direct admittance nursing major. And the first day, my first class was a bio class, and we went through the whole entire first chapter on the first day, and I freaked out because I had to read so much, and I have like a reading disorder, so like reading takes me 3 times as long as somebody else. And so that one freaked me out, and also because I knew nursing wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do anymore, so I switched majors to communication for film, television, and media production. And after that, I mean, your freshman year is a lot of like the required courses that you have to take. So I feel like if I took 5 classes the first semester, probably 3 of them required reading, especially because I had an English class at the beginning of the year. So that was probably the most, but I feel like a lot of professors that I've had so far don't have a ton of reading. But the thing is, in college, like nobody's checking you to make sure you're doing your work. And so I feel like that's why a lot of students fall behind, because they don't need someone checking. Like if there's homework, unless it's a paper, the professors aren't seeing it at all. Like my math class, the professor, there was like, oh, do these questions, but he wouldn't check them. It was like for your own good. And so I'm the type of person that like does everything, even if I know nobody's checking it. So I would read probably each night for like, or let's say a week. For the whole week, I'd probably read 3 hours altogether. So it's like not too bad yet, at least, because I know things are gonna get a little bit tougher as I get higher up in my classes. But it wasn't really too bad. And especially with college, I think the cool thing is you choose your courses, so you're a little bit more interested in what you're learning about. So the reading part isn't necessarily that bad, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Originally I applied undecided, and it wasn't until as recently I finally decided my major. I'm studying economics, so I was like, oh, let's see. I know every major is different, but let's hear her out and let's see what she's going through too. Another question is, do you think that your professors were helpful when you needed help in regards of like a subject that you didn't know or had trouble understanding?
Well, I mean, when I was first starting college, I'm a YouTube person. If I don't know how to figure out something, I YouTube it. So I was like, first year experiences at college, and like searching up everything I could watch. And so the big advice that I kept seeing in all of them was introduce yourself to your professor at the end of your first class. And it's really awkward and uncomfortable, especially when a lot of students are doing it as well. So you're like waiting in line to introduce yourself. But I definitely made sure that I still kept some sort of communication with them, even if I didn't have a problem, if that makes sense, just so that they like remembered who I was. They know like I'm a nice person, especially because I had to miss some classes sometimes just because of Teen USA stuff I had to do. And so they were very nice about that. And also they knew ahead of time because I spoke to them about it the first day of class, because I was like, my experience is a little bit different, but I want you to know, like, I'm here, I'm learning, like, education first. And especially when classes moved online, I feel like teachers were a lot more responsive to emails and getting back faster because they know it's a difficult time. I know my wellness teacher, she would just like email us randomly, give us updates about her kids, and one of my comm teachers would set up live like Zoom calls that weren't about class. It was just like a mental check-in for us. And so especially on campus, I find that it's really all about the professor when it comes to like their responsiveness, if that makes sense. Like sometimes your professors are sticklers and they go to work and they go home and that's it. Like their work time is when you can email them, and when they're home, they're not going to answer you. But I feel like most of my professors were very kind about responding to emails, clarifying things, especially just because I freak out in my head about if I'm doing something correctly or not. And so I find that they were pretty helpful. And especially, I think, just like building that relationship with your professor helps.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. So
yeah,
you just got to put in the effort and they will earn the favor.
Yeah.
And one last question.
Yeah.
I've heard from someone that you're a big foodie.
Yes.
And I know you commuted, but how was the food on campus?
The food on campus. So I have had the chance to eat the campus food because we had an experience like the incoming freshmen when we had orientation. We actually stayed on campus for the weekend. So we had like there's two main dining halls. There's Con, and then I forgot the name of the other one because I don't go there that much. But they're both, one's more of a buffet style and the other is kind of like a glorified version of a high school cafeteria, I guess you could kind of say. I think that's a good way of explaining it, because they have like the hamburgers, or they have like a salad bar and like stuff like that. And I find that like the food's like not that bad. You just have to like find what you like. And I especially like with my school, they have this whole food program. So we have like gardens on campus. So they're using like fresh produce, which is really cool. And they save the food and use it to go to, what's the name? Oh, like food pantries and stuff like that. So that was pretty nice. But yet again, I'm a simple food person. So French fries and chicken tenders is
it's
good
the
to
way
me.
to go. When you're really hungry, honestly, they slap. Like there's moments when it's like when it's midnight and you're finishing that paper that's due at 1 a.m, and then you're just like, anything will do right now. So
exactly.
Yeah. So thank you so much for answering all of my questions. It was so nice meeting you.
You too. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
I'll chat with you later.
Bye.
Bye. All right. What's Missy to say? Dining hall food is an experience you'll never forget. I mean, I guess so, but luckily I get to have my food at home, which basically means I just make mac and cheese cups. I got a question from someone. Do people recognize you on campus? At the start, a lot of people did, and I feel like people still do. It's just the fact that they've gotten used to me being there. But the thing is, like I said at the beginning, I don't ever expect people to know who I am. It's just kind of a me thing. People say it's because like, oh, Kaylee, you're humble, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, because like, I just don't expect people to know who I am. Like, I'm a cool person, but like, I'm not that special where I just expect people to know who I am. At first, the first week, I definitely got people like looking or like asking if I was the girl that won, and I was like, yeah. But that's about it, I think. But it's pretty cool. I mean, it was fun, but I also like just having my experience as being Kaliegh on campus, if that makes sense. What did I say? French fries and chicken tenders. That brought me back to all my memories for me. Yeah. There you go. So good. Let's see. We have Miss New Mexico next. Woo! Here she is. And I'm going to add her in, and then we're going to chat about that, and I'm going to keep answering your questions as well. Hi!
How are you?
I am doing well. How are you? Long time no see.
I know, it's been a while. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so I have a ton of questions. I have so many questions. But the first one is, how many classes did you take, and did you have like a ton of homework, or would you say it was like a normal amount?
Yeah, so my first semester I took 5 classes with most I just slurred. Most colleges you take between, if you're a full-time student, you take between 12 and 18 credits.
Mm-hmm.
And so 12 is like the bare minimum you can do. So I took 15 because that's 5 classes my first semester. And then my second semester, I actually ended up taking 18 credits. So the total amount that you could take, I took 6 classes because they had like an 8-week online course, and I was like, okay, like I can fit that in. And that's before I even knew that like classes were going to be online and like everything was going to change.
Right.
So it kind of ended up working out because that class was online, and it started after spring break, which is when we started everything online. So it kind of all worked out in that sense. With homework, I mean, it really depends on your course. I feel like the homework is so different, I feel like, in college than it is like in high school, just because like I said in the last interview, was that like they don't check your homework. So you can make it so you have no homework, but like that's not necessarily the smartest thing to do.
Right.
So every night I would say I had homework, and it would vary like with how much or how easy it was. Like math homework, it would take me like maybe an hour, and then maybe later in the year I had 2 papers that I had to do as well. So I think it really ended up coming down to how much I planned ahead, because you get a syllabus at the beginning of the year. They lay out like all your homework and all that stuff, so you can like work ahead if you want to, and like not have anything to like later in the year. But I kind of went along with the schedule, and if I knew I had, let's say, 3 big projects due on the same week, I would do one ahead of time so that it would like lesser the amount I had that one week, so I like wouldn't freak out. And especially because of my major is comm for like film, television and stuff, a lot of my homework is like filming and not necessarily writing papers now.
Yeah.
So I would have to go out on campus and sign out a camera from the digital department and film around campus, or I would have to watch films or like stuff like that. So it's a little bit different. I think it'll definitely change up more as I get more into my concentration classes, rather than just having like the general credits I have to cover. But it really is more on your own. Like you have to keep yourself to doing your homework, because it's very easy not to. And then like when the tests come around, you have no clue what's going on. Yeah.
I signed up for 5 classes, but there's like these new classes that came through later, and I want to sign up for one of them. But I don't know if like 6 classes is going to be too much for me. So
is it online or is it like in person?
So we're doing the hybrid schedule. So they said it depends like on our teachers. It's kind of just up to if they want to do online or in class. But most of my classes, there's like 30 kids. So I think most of them should be in person. But I'm not sure.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
The thing is, with the 6th class, I know when I was talking to my advisor about it, a lot of the times they like they don't deter kids. I don't know the word that I'm looking for, but they don't tell kids like, no, you shouldn't take the 6th class, but they like make them wary of it because it can be difficult, especially if it's like your first year. But it's like I did it and I did it perfectly fine. Like it wasn't too difficult just because like I planned out my like timing of everything. So I feel like if you're ambitious about it and you can plan your time out accordingly and not get stuck behind, I think you should be fine.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I definitely want to do it. So, and then my next question was, did you like the online classes?
So I actually love them. I love doing the online classes. I think it's just because I got to wake up whenever I woke up. Like if I only had one class, it was my ASL class that actually met like on Zoom, just because it's ASL, you can't teach that without like seeing. And the class was like at 3 p.m, so I'm not sleeping till 3 p.m, so it was fine. And so I got to wake up when I wanted, kind of take my time. All my classes except for that one were independent, so they would just send out the material that you had to do, and when you finished it, you sent it in, and that was kind of it. So I got to take my time on things. I got to plan things out. I had more time to just kind of do my own thing, like with my own life, just like relax, watch Netflix, do that thing, and then also just make sure that like I just got my homework done. And I also made sure that I did most of my work at the beginning of the week, so when Thursday and Friday rolled around, I barely had anything.
Oh, well, that's nice. We had Zoom classes like from 8 to 12 every day. So I was just in front of my computer like the entire time, and I was like, I don't like this.
I think it's just because like professors didn't have a lot of like turnaround time to like figure out how things were going to roll. And I also just think it's the way the classes are in college is that they didn't need to be taught necessarily in front of you. Just because the lessons were pretty self-explanatory, and kind of how I was explaining like the homework's different. And I was taking comm classes, so it'd be watch this TED Talk and tell me your feelings about it. That's kind of how the comm classes work. It's not necessarily learning new material. Like you learn vocab, but it's more about how do you feel about this X, Y, and Z. So that's why I feel like things didn't need to be in person as much.
Yeah, it's just a little different. And then my very last question is, did you like living like by yourself away from your parents?
So I have a roommate. His name is Skipper. Everybody out here hears Skipper all the time. But I actually enjoyed it a lot. I think it was a growing experience, a learning experience, and I'm still trying to figure stuff out. Even this morning, my roommate had to go to work, and his car wouldn't unlock. And once he finally figured out how to get inside, because there wasn't like a key slot for him to get into his car wouldn't start, and I don't know how to jump a car. I'm still trying to figure that out. So it's definitely a learning experience. And it's like I still visit my parents on weekends when I can, but I think it was fun just because it's that like independence a lot of teens are searching for. It sucks in the sense you got to spend money. Like groceries are so expensive, I've learned over this past year, like so expensive for no reason. But thankfully my parents are always willing to help out. But it was fun. I don't know, you get to have friends over kind of whenever you want. You can go out without asking like, hey, can I run to my friend's house or something? But I don't know, it's cool. But also it's, at first I was really sad about it because like I was like moving into this new place, like so many new experiences were gonna happen. Like I was scared, I was nervous. So I like cried. Like before I had my room, I slept on the couch downstairs, and I like cried for like a week when Skipper was sleeping, because I was just scared. Like it's a new experience, and I feel like it's so valid to be like nervous, because like everybody, like you don't know what to expect. Like you can watch as many videos, get as much advice, but like each person, it's their own independent new experience. So
so I'm gonna be living in the dorms, so I am excited, but I was just thinking about it the other day, like that is gonna be kind of scary. Like my mom is like my best friend, so she's always right there, but I am excited to have like a little bit more of my independence.
Yeah,
So
of course. And I hope you enjoy it and like your roommate. I don't know who you're rooming with. You
oh,
know.
well, it's funny. Yeah, my roommate is actually the first runner-up from New Mexico pageant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're gonna be roommating together. I'm excited. It's gonna
Oh,
be
that's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah,
Well, I'm excited for you, and I hope
thank
that all
you.
goes well.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I had fun.
Of course. Well,
Okay,
thank you, and I wish you the best of luck.
thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Ooh, ooh. A little bit of vulnerability there on my part, but let's see. Love chatting with Bella there. Let's see. Questions. Take the most time. I'm reading these really fast. I'm trying to. Did you know Skipper before college? Yes, I did. Skipper and I went to my second high school, my arts high school, together. He is going into his senior year of high school. So he is younger. So I'm going into my sophomore year. He's going into his senior year of high school. But we met at my art school. We actually weren't friends at the start of school. But then we just got closer through hanging out with other friends. And his sister happened to be moving out of the apartment at the same time that I was looking for an apartment. So that was cool. It worked out all together. And yeah, now he's my roommate, and I get to drive him to work when his car doesn't work. Let me see what else. I'm trying to figure out were there a lot of walking from classes? There was a lot of walking from class to class. I think it depends on the campus. My campus isn't huge, but it is a decent size. So they gave us 10 minutes, I think, in between classes. Just the way the class schedule is set up, they would allow you 10 minutes to walk from class to class. And a lot of times you would get out of your classes early, when the teacher's done teaching, they don't make you sit there and wait. You can just leave. Very different from high school in the fact there's no bells telling you when to leave class, and not a teacher saying the bell doesn't dismiss you, I do. So I think I like the walking, because especially if you had maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes in between your class. My school has a nice courtyard where you can just sit, and there's a bunch of students walking around. So that was pretty nice. Oop, I just hit my camera. But next we have Miss Hawaii Teen USA coming on to chat with me, asking her questions. And yeah, Esther asked, how do you juggle school and work assignments? And how do you juggle school and work assignments? I do my thing. Like I said earlier, I have my calendar. I stick to my calendar every night. I go over it 30 times a day, just because it keeps me sane. And I just plan everything out to make sure I allow myself enough time for everything. Let me see if she's joining. Yes, she is. And we're going to answer some of her questions as well. We're just waiting for it to connect. And then we'll start chatting. Oh, Hawaii. It must be so nice right now. I wonder if it's nice. I'm going to ask her if it's nice in Hawaii. I know my calendar is everything too. I love it. I love my calendar. Oh, I have my phone calendar, and I have my hard book one. And I used to have the dry erase board calendar as well for my week. Oh, it was insane. But that was high school. But now I just use my calendar, and I cross everything out. Seeing your calendar at the end of the month and everything's crossed out is the best thing. But I should keep trying. Okay. She's gonna try again. And hopefully it works. This happens sometimes. I know. I want to talk about Hawaii weather too. Yes, sometimes the things don't connect, but if you try again, it can work. I tried to request her. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know you could request somebody else. The knowledge I'm going to take college courses online. Well, good luck with that. I wish you luck with your college courses online. Huh. I wonder what classes of mine are gonna be online, but we shall see. I just freaked out because I thought my roommate was home because his car is here, but I just remembered that I drove him to work this morning. Hey, how are you, Jules? I think that's Jules on the PR pageant coaches thing. And you're welcome. Oh, I really hope her live can go through. Let's see. What other questions do you guys have? I think really. Oh, Esther asked, makeup or bare face when I'm on campus? Yeah, I am a bare face person. I do not wear makeup on campus. If I know I'm filming something huge, like on campus, whether it be that it's like going up on YouTube or something, then I'll wear makeup. I'll wear like what I'm wearing now, which is a little bit of concealer, mascara, and a little bit of highlight, but that's it. I'm not a big, huge makeup person. In all my videos that I do for content for MUO, I have this same look on. Just because I'm not a huge makeup person. I like being able to touch my face, even though you should not touch your face that much. But yeah, I don't know. Not a big makeup person. Also, like, nobody cares. Nobody cares what you look like. Like, you're going to campus. You're going to learn. It doesn't matter what you look like. So I just wear sweats, fuzzy socks, and Crocs. I wear Crocs a lot. Because they're comfortable and they're easy to slip off, because I sit like crisscross applesauce when I'm in class. Yes, I'm that person. So yeah, there you go. That's my thing. And no worries, miss. We're gonna keep trying to get her on. Sometimes things happen, you know? Sometimes, if you leave the live, here's a fun fact. If your thing isn't working, if you leave the live and like close out Instagram and go back in, sometimes that can make it work for Miss Hawaii Teen USA, just so you know. So close the live, close out Instagram, come back in, hit the live again, and request. So that might work. Oh, more questions. Let's see. Yes. School has announced their plans for fall. So I said a little earlier, but basically we're starting August 26th. Things are going to be pretty normal, except some of the classes are going to be hybrid, which means half online, half in person. Some classes are going to be moved fully online for the fall semester, but I know they're trying to keep things as normal as possible, so a lot of the classes will still be in person. There will be a 50-person limit to each class, which is pretty okay, because we only have like, probably out of all of our courses, we probably have like 7 to 10 lectures on campus. So I think they're just going to limit those or just switch up the class a little bit. And then after Thanksgiving break, we are completely online for 2 weeks, which basically just means finals are online, and that's about it. I think a lot of the professors are going to like make their classes a little faster so that they can cover more in the time that we're on campus, so that last 2 weeks we are just studying and then we have finals. So they just have to move all the finals online, which might be weird, but I think since they have the time to prepare now, it might be a little bit easier. And then we just go back to classes again in the spring, which I think is the end of February, but I'm not sure. Let's see if I can join her in. I see that she came back in. So we're going to see if it works. Fingers crossed that we can chat with her. Did you do Miss Teen USA appearances on campus?
Oh my gosh!
Ah!
I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
Freaking out the whole entire time. I was doing like Wi-Fi and then no Wi-Fi and then kept going out and in. Okay.
No worries at all.
Perfect.
Trust me,
Good
this
morning.
has happened before, so no worries at all about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. I'm so excited. And I was like, I have so many questions that I really wanted to ask her because oh my gosh. Okay. Deep breaths. Okay, awesome. So this first question is very personal to me, I know, and I know you're probably going to be very expertise at this. So I'm going to Washington for school at the University of Puget Sound, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be prepared for the cold weather because I'm like, boots, like snow jackets, what is that? So like, how do you prepare for like the cold and for the snow, especially when going to class?
Yes, so, it's brick. Let me tell you that in the winter. It's cold. But Washington, I know it's probably colder. But for me, I'm not, when I'm on campus especially, I'm not like I need to look good, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, I need to be comfortable in my classes. I need to be warm. So I always wore fuzzy socks. I wore like LL Bean boots. I don't know if you know the ones I'm talking about, but I wear those, and they make them specifically is that they have like different thickness to them, so that your feet can like stay warmer. So you can buy them in different thicknesses, and I love those. I wore those all throughout the winter too because they're also waterproof, so that was really nice. But if it's like a really cold day, I just make sure I layer up. Like I wore like leggings, and then I wore sweatpants, and then I had like a t-shirt on, and then a sweater, and then a jacket, and then like one of those, like, it's like a good time to invest in stuff that's warm. That's like what I'd say. And the hard thing for me is hats. I can't wear hats when it's warm, so to be warm. So I always I bought some earmuffs just because of that. Are you living on campus, or are you?
Yes, I am.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, if you're driving, like, you have to make sure you get up an extra 20 minutes early so your car can like warm up and defrost and all that, but you don't gotta worry about that. But usually, I know when it snows on campus is usually good about either saying like, oh, classes will be delayed, especially if they have to clear the sidewalks and stuff for students. So I just say layer up and invest in some warm stuff. Because,
I know I'm gonna be sad leaving all like my warm clothes behind, and
I know
new clothes, but it's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to get creative with my questions because I was going last. So I'm wondering, do you prefer morning classes or afternoon classes? Because I know like a lot of people are like, oh, morning classes are so bad because like you never want to wake up early. But I'm a morning person, so I mean, just how do they differ?
Yeah, for me, I don't know, because it's the mix of like, morning classes, you have to get up early, but the thing is, you can, for the most part, choose your classes. So I never did an 8 a.m., but I did a 9:10 a.m. class, which wasn't too bad. It's just the fact of commuting to school that was kind of bad, but like once you're there, and it's like, you're good from there. But I think I would prefer like the morning classes, the morning to early afternoon classes, just because it's like once you're done, I would finish around, let's say 1 in the afternoon, and I'd be free the rest of the day to like do whatever. And that was like the weirdest thing for me, like being out and finished at 1. And then I just have the rest of the day to either do homework or like do my own thing. So I think morning classes were actually kind of my thing, because then I wouldn't have to like miss stuff that usually happened at the latter half of the day.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so my next question is that in college, like, how did you keep in contact with your family? Because I know it's like a whole new time of independence, and even with like Chesley and Zosie, because they're like your new extended family. So how did you like keep in touch with them and like,
so thankfully, like, smartphones are a thing. So obviously FaceTime and just chatting that way. I know Chesley and Zosie, they randomly FaceTime me a lot, which is really funny, especially like during these times because I can't really see them. And so they always randomly FaceTime me. With my dad and my mom, I would just go drive and visit them when I could, like on the weekends if I wasn't working. My mom lives by the water, so like even a few weekends ago or like last weekend, I visited them and we got to like hang out by the water, which was super nice. And I just found like my mom texted me so much just because she like had empty nest syndrome a little bit. And so she always just texted me. And I think it's like the time to, even though in an honest way that like it can be annoying because you're like, oh, I just found freedom, blah, blah, blah. My
Yeah.
parents are texting me. It's like, you got to forgive them a little bit because it's like, I was the last to leave out of like all the girls. So I like text your mom back, text your dad back, like just keep in contact with them and you'll realize like how much they do for you and how much you miss them. So it is nice when you see them.
Yeah, that's funny because I'm the first to leave. I have two younger siblings. My sister's 7 and my brother's 5, and they're actually just waking up. So I'm sorry if you hear like little noises in the background, like their footsteps. But like, yeah, so I know it's gonna be hard for me, I think, to like leave the nest.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, it's new. It's a new experience, but I found that like I really enjoyed it. Because then it's like you can do your own thing, which is cool. You have more time for you, so that's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, last question, I think. So, do you prefer for like classes and lectures, like writing notes on a computer? Like, is it more easier to stay organized like that, or like are the benefits of writing it down on paper like better? Because I know like it helps with memory to like write things down. Like actually,
for sure. I think for me, if I'm being honest here, I took all my notes on my computer. Most schools I think run through Microsoft like software, so they have like OneNote, and that way I could make folders for each of my classes, and then in those folders give them like different sections. So I'll say class of February the 24th, and so I'm able to label it out that way. I found that was easier for me because I'm a typer, like I can type really fast, but with writing it takes me forever, and then I like freak out because I'm like, what did they say? And I feel like I have to get everything down. But also with my campus, a lot of times a lot of the notes and stuff are on PowerPoint. Like the professors give notes off of PowerPoint, and they'll have the PowerPoints for you after class. So that way you can focus more on what they're saying instead of getting notes down. So my professor, like I'd watch the class, and then they would send me notes, or you actually get the PowerPoints ahead of time. So that way I had the PowerPoints on my computer, and if there was any little tidbit I wanted to add to my notes, I would just write that on the side, like type it up on the side. Just because the paper doesn't really work for me. The only time I really took notes for paper was math class, because like can't really do that.
Writing those little symbols. I think I've tried that because I had to take like a quiz online, and then I had to like put in all like the little like special symbols, like the deltas, and I'm like, this is taking me forever.
I know. So with math, definitely on paper, but I found for me personally, it was just easier to do everything online just because I can type faster. My handwriting's not like freaking out, and like I can't read it later, so that was easier for me.
Yeah. Oh my, awesome. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course.
I feel a little more assured going off.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, though. Thank you for asking and chatting with me today.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I love that. We were able to get her on. Oh, my mom said, I still have empty nest. Mom, Chantel's living with you. Let's see if there's any other questions before I sign off. Oh, Nia's on. Hey, Nia. Did you do any Miss Teen USA appearances on campus? So I saw this right before I got on live. But yes, I did one event that I did for Teen USA. They were having a ball, and it was to raise money for the campus, and they had asked me to go as a guest. And so the funny thing was that I work for since I've said this before, I work for the social media department, but I got called into one of my boss's office, and they asked if I could go as a guest as Miss Teen USA instead of working the event. And so they got in contact with MUO, everything got worked out, and I was able to go as a guest. What's his name? Leah Miranda? No, that's the guy that wrote. I can't remember his name right now. He's from Hamilton. He came and actually sang at the fundraiser for campus, which was really awesome. So I got to meet him, got to chat with him. So him and I were guests there. And it was kind of funny though. Skipper went as my date with me. He was kind of my chaperone. Esther said that he could be my manager for the night, which was really cool. So that was fun. And it was also funny just because all the people I work with were helping run the event. and they were running the event, and so I was like doing my thing, being a guest, and they were like working their butts off, and I couldn't help them. And it's not Manuel Miranda. He's not the writer of it. Oh, what part is he? Oh, I don't know. I don't know his name. If I ever remember, I will make sure to tell you guys. It's going to be so random if I remember, and then I tell everyone next week. They're going to have no clue what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I have done events on campus. Somebody asked what my major is. I'm majoring in communications for film, and the concentration is film, television, and media production, because there's different concentrations for communication, like promotion and business and stuff like that. My go-to outfit for classes is sweats, so sweatpants, sweatshirt, Crocs, and fuzzy socks, because it's comfortable. And yes, I do like online classes. But yeah, that's basically it. If you guys have any more questions, DM me and I'll do my best to get back to you and answer your questions about college. It's a wonderful experience. It's a new experience, but it is absolutely fun. Mom, no, it is not Aaron Burr. I forgot his name. But thank you guys for watching. And if any of you are going into college or continuing with college, anything with schooling, I wish you the best of luck, and I will chat with you guys later. Bye.